Hello and welcome to Oxford, Ohio. It's midweek action and a Southwest Ohio slugfest between the visiting Raiders of Wright State and the Miami RedHawks. Miami is looking to avenge a March 7th, 23-7 loss to the Raiders and get back in the win column before they travel up I-75 to take on Bowling Green this weekend. Miami's coming in 4-17, Wright State hosting a 9-10 record. Carson Byers toeing the rubber for the RedHawks in this one, and we are just moments away from first pitch here on Love and Honor Live. So while we got you here, let's go ahead and go through the Raiders' starting lineup. Batting leadoff and patrolling center field will be Andrew Patrick, and the two-hole and playing right field will be Jay Lukert. Garrick Anglin will be batting third. He's playing second base. Sammy Sass, typically behind the dish, will be the designated hitter and batting cleanup today. Patrick Fultz will be batting fifth and playing third base. Boston Smith getting the start behind the dish. He's batting sixth. Parker Harrison out in left field. He's batting seventh. Julian Greenwell over at first base. He's batting eighth. Luke Arnold will be anchoring this lineup. He's playing shortstop. And we mentioned Carson Byers out on the bump for Miami today. Carson has had an up-and-down season to begin things this year. You see his stats in front of you. Byers, a 14.73 ERA. He has pitched 11 innings. He's given up 18 earned runs. He struck out 18. He's walked 17. This will be his seventh appearance on the year and his second start. Byers, a southpaw. True freshman from Michigan. Only player on Miami's roster listed two ways. First pitch is called strike. First pitch time is 3:01. So Andrew Patrick steps in. He's leading this team in hitting, 344. He's got an OPS over 1. 22 hits and 64 at-bats. He finds himself in an 0-2. Byers takes a deep breath and delivers the 0-2 fastball that tails away from Patrick. The 1-2 offering from Byers is fouled straight back. We'll do it again here at 1-2. Byers went 1/3 of an inning back in that March 7th matchup against Wright State. He gave up 5 earned runs. He walked 5 batters. The 1-2 is going to hit Andrew Patrick. So before getting him in the well, awards him first base. So let's take you through how Miami is aligning defensively. In the battery with Carson Byers is going to be Tommy Harrison. Over at first base, Parker Lester. Dylan Baker is at second. Over at third base, Evan Applewick. Shortstop, Cooper Weiss. Out in the pasture, we have a bit of a changeup. Brian Zapp's out in left field. Rylan Zaborowski starting in center field today, typically a third baseman. And Zach McDonald, the typical starting center fielder, is out in right. The first pitch here to Jay Lukert is a called ball. It's 1-0. Lukert, one of the shining stars on this Raiders offense. He was All-Horizon League second team last year. He's the starting outfielder, and he's also the closer for Wright State. Was on the leaderboard in the nation for saves last year. Pickoff attempt from Carson Byers. Had Patrick fooled, but the tag not there in time, so we'll stay put at first. 2-0's the count to the left-handed swinging Lukert. Lukert, a preseason All-American choice, second team. Byers going back to the well on the pickoff attempt. Lukert, second on the team in hitting, batting .319. 3 home runs on the young season. He's slugging .528. As he gets ahead 3-0. More importantly, his on-base percentage approaching .400, .390. A 3-0 offering. Found the strike zone, so we'll see at least one more pitch in this at-bat. Can't shake Patrick over there. Yeah, it was in the 4th inning when Byers came in as he gets a 3-1 swing from Lukert to knot the count up at 3-2. And a strikeout. Byers comes back from 3-0 to put down the starting right fielder, Jay Lukert, in a big strikeout, a big out number 1 for Miami. And now we're going to see Garrick Anglin. Anglin, 4 home runs on the young season, batting .250. We talked about Lukert, was second-team All-Horizon last year in a preseason All-American by a couple different sources. It's Garrick Anglin that has been the crux of this team and this lineup. The starting second baseman was All-Horizon first team, was Horizon League All-Tournament team last year as the Raiders once again took the Horizon League. 2-0's the count. Byers kicks, steals, misses downstairs, and once again finds himself in a 3-0 hole. And it's a walk to Garrick Anglin. Runners on first and second, and now we'll see Sammy Sass. Sammy Sass, a junior from Upper Arlington. The 6'1" catcher is getting the start at the designated hitter spot today. Batting .270, his OPS over 700. First pitch swing and sends one into left field for a base knock. Waving around Patrick and heading for home. Wright State takes the lead. It's 1-0. Hit by pitch, walk, and a base knock puts the Raiders on the board first. So now we'll see Patrick Fultz. Fultz, only his 3rd start to the season. Both coming in the past week. The true freshman from Springfield Shawnee, so didn't have to travel too far to go to Wright State, and we're already going to talk to Carson Byers out there on the bump. And got the start against Purdue Fort Wayne, 2 hits and 4 at-bats. Then when they played Ohio State just last night, got the start as well. Scored a run, went 1 for 4. Wright State shut out the Buckeyes 3-0. Temperature here in the first inning, 50 degrees. Got 5-mile-an-hour wind to the north. You see the flag out in center field. Blowing from right field to left. And you can expect some rain throughout this one. Forecast shows that there will be a drizzle for practically the entirety of this ball game. The 1-0 here to Fultz. Check on the runner out there. It's Anglin. Nobody home. And he draws his attention back to the true freshman. Fultz is listed at 6 foot tall, 200 pounds. Was a 4-year starter at Springfield Shawnee. First team All-Ohio selection as a senior. Was also a 4-year starter for Shawnee on the hardwood. One of the smaller schools up there. but still a very good athletic program. It's 2-1. Breaking ball finds the strike zone. And he knots the count up at 2s. Runners on first and second, the 2-2 from Byers. Going back to the well on the breaker. Works away from Foltz. Lefty on lefty action, trying to get that K-pitch working, and the count is full. Infield playing practically straight up. Cooper Weiss close to the second base bag. The turn 2. And ball 4. So load the bases for the starting catcher today. It's Boston Smith. Second time this week that Miami has had trouble in the first inning. Gave up 6 runs yesterday to Oakland. It was a game that saw Miami come all the way back from down 8-3, ties the game up at 9-9 in the 7th. Oakland then tagged on 2 runs in the top of the 8th, 1 in the 9th, and they won 12-9. Boston Smith, his 10th start this year, .282 hitter. Gets ahead 3-0 as Byers is still just struggling to find the strike zone on a consistent basis. Smith, another native to the 937 from Vandalia Butler High School. Very good baseball program up there, the Aviators. Transfer from the University of Cincinnati. Smith played sparingly for the Bearcats last year. Now, he did get his first collegiate home run against their rivals, the Xavier Musketeers. And it's a walk for Byers, which will bring home a run. Garrick Anglin scores. Sammy Sass moves to third. Patrick Foltz to second. And Boston Smith is awarded first base. Parker Harrison steps into the batter's box. The red shirt freshman. Got the start against Miami last time. Had a career day. 2 hits, 2 runs, 2 doubles, and 3 RBIs. One 0 swinging. Harrison fouls it back. So Harrison gives Byers a strike after the southpaw walks the 2 previous hitters. Was a nice pitch to Offrat. Miami looking to get a ground ball and get out of this inning. Two ones in there for a called strike. Changeup. Off-speed pitch. Froze Harrison. And the count is 2-2. Coming all the way back. Harrison checks his swing but fouls it straight back. And we'll do it once more. Harrison had a hit and a run last night as, once again, Wright State won 3-0 over the Buckeyes. Went back to the well on that changeup. Couldn't get on top of it. Lost it up and away. Count is full. So Byers has already given up 4 free passes. Make it 5. Three 3-0 our score. Julian Greenwell steps into the batter's box. Greenwell takes the first pitch for a called strike. Byers gets ahead of Greenwell. Greenwell coming in as a 194 hitter. He started in nearly every game that Wright State has played. 17 of their first 19 appearances. Stings one out to center field. Rylan Zaborowski comes in, makes the catch on the run, gets it into the infield. A run will score. But Byers gets the second out of the inning. So score Patrick Fultz. Boston Smith and Parker Harrison stay put at first and second. And the line out puts a 2 underneath the out on the scoreboard. Luke Arnold steps in. Arnold, another local native. From Lebanon, Ohio, the redshirt sophomore. Made 11 starts last year. Has been a regular in the Raiders lineup, anchoring Wright State's lineup. The 1-1 is a changeup that falls into the strike zone. 1-2's the count. Miami has a southpaw up in the pen, working sparingly. Not actively getting hot to come in, and Byers strikes out Arnold for the third and final out, but not before the Raiders plate 4 runs thanks to 5 free passes. We head to the bottom of the first. It's 4-0 here at McKee Field. Welcome back to McKee Field at Hayden Park. I'm Reed Mouse. You're watching Love and Honor Live here on Chatterbox Sports. Let's take you through the RedHawks starting lineup, why don't we? Batting leadoff and playing third base, Evan Applewick. Batting a 2-hole, Cooper Weiss. He's playing shortstop. Rylan Zaborowski starting once again. He's playing center field. Zach McDonald cleaning up this RedHawks lineup. He's out and right. Parker Lester in the 5-hole. He's playing first base. David Novak, who had an excellent game yesterday, is getting the nod at designated hitter. He's batting 6. With a right-handed pitcher on the mound, you'll see Brian Zapp starting in left field. Dylan Baker and the revolving door that is second base is getting the start tonight. Tommy Harrison will be anchoring the lineup. He's behind the dish. Out on the mound for Wright State, the redshirt freshman, 6'3", 205 pounds, Ty Roeder. Roeder this year, saw the stats in front of you, 12.79 ERA in 8 appearances. This is his second start. He's only pitched 6 1/3 innings. He has struck out 8. He's walked 6. Evan Applewick awaits the 0-1 from the lanky right-hander. One hops out to the first baseman, Greenwell, fields it cleanly, steps on first base. That's the first out. So let's take you through Wright State's defensive alignment today. Boston Smith is in the battery with Roeder. Greenwell is over at first base. Garrick Anglin playing second. Arnold's at shortstop. Fultz at third. Left to right, Harrison, Patrick, Lukert. First pitch to Cooper Weiss in there for a called strike. A new mix-up to this Miami starting lineup. Weiss, who batted cleanup yesterday, moving to the 2-hole. High chop. Roeder's going to have to come off the mound. Fields it bare hand. Throws it down the right field line. Cooper Weiss turns around first. He's heading for second, slowing up before going into the bag. The right fielder, Lukert's there to get the ball into the infield. So it's an error on Roeder. And we'll see Rylan Zaborowski. Zaborowski was a late scratch yesterday. Originally in the starting lineup, they checked on him and eventually got back into the lineup thanks to a pinch hit and coming right off the bench, hit a home run. Roeder kicks, deals, breaking ball, finds the strike zone. Roeder comes set. Misses upstairs. Fouled straight back, runs it to 1-2. Zaborowski has been one of the real shining stars in this Miami lineup, along with Cooper Weiss, Evan Applewick, and Zach McDonald, basically the start of this RedHawks lineup. 1-2, misses low and away, runs the count 2-2. Zaborowski had his third school in 3 years. And making a name for himself here for Miami. 2-2, trails away from Zaborowski. Roeder runs the count full. Kicks, deals. Called strike 3 on the outside. So now you'll see Zach McDonald step into the batter's box with Cooper Weiss on second base and 2 away. McDonald sent one for a ride yesterday, 448 out to left field. No doubt home run from the typical starting center fielder. Starting in right today. Interesting mix-up to put Rylan Zaborowski, who is used to starting at third base, out in center field and moving McDonald to right. The 1-0. Fastball. Registering at 93 miles an hour. Misses up and away. Cooper Weiss running. The throw down to third base. In time, the tag slapped on Cooper Weiss. And the third out of the inning is made at third base. So Miami gets a runner on second, and the base running miscue ends the bottom half of the first. We head to the second here on Love and Honor Live. back here in Oxford, Ohio. The top of the second we go. Wright State back to the top of their starting lineup. They scored 4 in the first inning. Carson Byers back on out for another inning of work. About 5 free passes. And the first frame. Looking to straighten himself out here in the second. I'm Remouse, you're watching Chatterbox Sports. Mentioned both these teams in action yesterday. If you tuned in yesterday, you saw a great game. It just went the way of the visiting Oakland Golden Grizzlies. Similar to what, at least the start that we've seen today. Visiting Oakland jumps out to a 6-0 lead in the top half of the first. Miami answers back with 3 of their own in the bottom. And then Oakland adds on 2, and it's at around 8-3 for a couple innings, and you saw Miami just chip away at that lead. David Novak's 7th inning home run tied the game up at 9. And then Oakland got back on top in the 8th, and the rest was history. 3-1's the count from Byers. Here to Andrew Patrick. Patrick flares one out to right field. Zach McDonald makes the play. There's going to be a throw out at second base. The throw from McDonald is not in time. Patrick never hit the brakes, rounding first, heading for second. And because of the high hop on the turf, McDonald had to wait for gravity to do its part. Throws a strike into Cooper Weiss at second base. And Patrick slid underneath. It's a leadoff double for the Raiders. Jay Lukert struck out his first time around. First pitch swinging against Carson Byers. Byers once again gets ahead. Byers comes set. Checks on Patrick out there at second base. Called strike. 0-2. Fouled back over the third base dugout. 0-2's the count to Lukert. Modest lead out at second base for Patrick. Doesn't look like he's heading anywhere. The 0-2 misses. It's 1-2. Lukert awaits the 1-2. Fouled back. You mentioned he was the Asheville, Ohio native that received 2 different preseason All-American nods. One was from the National Collegiate Baseball Writers Association. And he's shown his weight in the early parts of this season. Second on the team in hitting and 6 innings of relief work. Struck out 3 and has an ERA of 4.5. Popped up in the infield. Carson Byers initially calls it. Evan Applewick calls him off for the first out. So a pop-up to Evan Applewick. You saw Carson Byers showing that he's a two-way player. Wasn't afraid to make the play there, though conceded once he heard the third baseman Applewick call for the ball. And now we'll see Garrick Anglin. Anglin's first pitch swinging, popped up in the infield. Cooper Weiss looking up, calls for the ball, takes 2 steps back and catches it for the second out. So back-to-back infield pop-ups put 2 outs on the board. Byers is putting Sammy Sass away from hanging a 0 on the board. Sass had the lone hit in the top half of the first. Byers checks on the runner, almost gets out into center field, but a nice dive at the bag by Dylan Baker, keeping it in the infield. So Sammy Sass, when I saw that name, immediately rang some bells in my head, and I had to go back, look through my notes. Back for when I worked for Prep Baseball Report Ohio back in the summer of 2018, Sammy Sass was at the Elite Prospects games over in Mason, Ohio, one of the best catchers at the event, and now coming full circle 5 years later, he pops up to the first baseman, Parker Lester, for the third and final out. So 3 infield pop-ups in the top half of the second after the leadoff double, and the RedHawks are heading back into the dugout. It's 4-0 here on Love and Honor Live. Bottom of the second here on this rainy Wednesday afternoon. I'm Reed Mouse. You're watching Love and Honor Live on Chatterbox Sports. 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 up for Miami. Zach McDonald, Parker Lester, David Novak. Roeder back out on the mound for Wright State. 4-0 our score in the bottom half of the second. And the rain has started to fall. It shall continue through the majority of the 9 innings here today. First pitch goes into the back of Zach McDonald, and Miami is awarded a base runner here in the bottom of the second. Parker Lester didn't get the start yesterday against Oakland, but came off the bench, singled in the 9th inning, extending the game. Back in the starting lineup here tonight. Lester shows bunt, was trying to lay it down. Lester's got some speed. Don't let his position at first base fool you. Second on the team in stolen bases this year. Isn't afraid to beat it out on with his legs. So you can almost see on your screen just the mist that is overtaking the sky, the gray. Just an ugly day out here in Oxford. We had some sun shining through yesterday. Temperature is fairly warm, right around 50 degrees. So can't complain about that. Just a soggy Wednesday afternoon. 0-2 misses low and in. It's 1-2. Roeder and the turf. Good job by Smith keeping it in front of himself. Gloved it cleanly. 2-2 is our count. Parker Lester, a Hamilton Joe in the summer. Flares one down the left field line. That's a base knock. Bounces up over the head of Harrison out in left field. Lester will have a double, put runners on second and third, nobody away, and David Novak coming up to the plate. So David Novak steps in, a .239 hitter. He raised his average quite considerably just yesterday. A 3 for 4 at the plate. He scored 3 runs, had 3 RBIs, and we mentioned that game-tying home run in the 7th. Takes the first pitch outside. It's 1-0. They've been waiting for Novak to start showing the promise that he had last season, where he was a first-team all-league selection. Smith going to go talk out to his pitcher, Roeder. So a hit by pitch and a double get things working for Miami here in the bottom of the second. David Novak, when we mentioned, he raised his batting average just yesterday alone. He's got almost half of his hits this season in his previous 2 games. So seeing the ball well, but Roeder has fallen behind. It's 3-0. And it's a walk. Load the bases for Brian Zapp. So we'll see Brian Zapp, 286 hitter, getting the start against the right-handed pitching Ty Roeder. Representing the tying run at the plate. Zapp with 3 home runs on the season. Most recently coming over the weekend against Northern Illinois. Had a hit off the bench yesterday. The first pitch from Roeder. Kick, steals, Zapp. First pitch swinging, pops one over the Hayden Baseball Center. Roeder comes set. Fastball blown by Zapp. 0-2's the count. So 2 free passes and the double have loaded the bases. What can the RedHawks do with it? Zapp steps off. Roeder gets the sign from Smith. The 0-2. Lined into center field. Giving chase is Patrick. He's up against the wall. Off the wall. Extra bases. 1 run will score as they had to tag up on the pop fly. Almost a grand salami here, but it rattles off the 400 mark. And straight away center field. Only 1 run could come across on the hit from Brian Zapp. It's 4-1, and now Dylan Baker steps in. Zapp finds the barrel, but just, unfortunately, with the bases clogged up and the pop-up, not a whole lot Miami could do. Andrew Patrick gave chase, and the ball hit midway up the center field wall. Breaking ball is fouled over the first base dugout. Dylan Baker batting .216 on the season. Spent last year with College of the Desert. One of the best JUCOs in California. Baker goes down swinging. True freshman Tommy Harrison steps in to the batter's box. First team All-State selection as a high school senior a season ago. From the powerhouse that is St. Ed's. First pitch, swinging, chops it out to the first baseman, Greenwell. Out at second base, or at least it should have been, but it tips off the glove of Luke Arnold. One run will score, make it 2 on the ground ball. So out nowhere. Had Brian Zapp dead in the rights out at second base, but just off the end of the glove. Greenwell made a nice play, the left-handed first baseman. Shortstop Arnold just couldn't make the play, and it's 4-3. And we're back at the top of the lineup for Miami. Plate Parker Lester and David Novak and move Brian Zapp up to third base. There's runners on the corner, on the air. Roeder comes set. Applewick shows bunt, pulls it back. It's 1-0. Roeder comes set. Applewick awaiting the 1-0. Showing bunt once again. Pushes it towards the first baseman, Greenwell. That'll play to run. Moving up to second base, Tommy Harrison, and Evan Applewick does his job on the safety squeeze. So the game all knotted up at 4, and Miami's still threatening with Cooper Weiss at the plate, and out at second base, Tommy Harrison. Roeder, 91-mile-an-hour heat on the corner. Weiss chopped a ball to Roeder, in which the starting pitcher made an error last time around. Base hit out to left field. Tommy Harrison had to stay put. Initially, he will not score on the base knock, but he will extend the inning. And Rylan Zaborowski steps up to the plate. He struck out looking his last time. And they're going to go talk to Ty Roeder. The umpires today here at McKee Field, behind home plate is Daryl Morton Jr., out at first base, Justin Penix, and Austin Fairwig is the third base umpire. So this is a chance, if you haven't been here before to Chatterbox Sports, we invite you to subscribe to our channel, like the stream. I see that we already have 65 likes. We have a bunch of viewers sitting here watching today. If you like daily sports content, we have that for you. From 10 to noon, Monday through Friday, we have our Sports Show, Off the Bench with Thom Brennaman, as well as other content. Just take a gander around our channel, see what you like. I invite you to stay around. We're going to step aside for a short break. When we come back, we'll have a new arm to tell you about. It's Love and Honor Live here on Chatterbox Sports. So welcome back to McKee Field. Rylan Zaborowski taking the first pitch from Warren Hartzell. Warren Hartzell is the right-handed pitcher on the mound, the true freshman from Greenville, Ohio. 6 foot tall, 190 pounds. He's got a 7.04 ERA. This will be his 8th appearance on the year, 7.2 thirds innings pitched. So Ty Roeder made it 1 2/3 innings. 4 runs given up on 4 hits and struck out a pair. Zaborowski awaits the 1-0 from Hartzell. Breaking ball in there for a called strike. Hartzell. Rylan Zaborowski knuckles one into left field just beyond the glove of Fultz. That's a base knock and a Miami lead. Zaborowski muscled that into left field, just right on the handles. And now Zach McDonald steps into the batter's box with runners on first and second. 2 away, and Miami takes a 5-4 lead. First time these two teams face, 30 runs were plated. 23 by Wright State, 7 by Miami. We've seen 9, and we're not even through the second inning. Weiss on second, Zaborowski on first. Zach McDonald awaits the 1-0 from Hartzell. Shows bunt, takes it as that breaking ball finds the turf. McDonald led off this second inning. He was hit by a pitch as the RedHawks have batted around. The 2-0 is popped up sky high down the first base line. Greenwell giving chase. The left-handed first baseman backtracks, catches it for the third and final out. But not before Miami plates 5 runs. Rylan Zaborowski's single gives Miami the lead. We head to the top of the third. Carson Byers heading back out for the RedHawks. Stay tuned. You're watching Love and Honor Live. Patrick Fultz, Boston Smith, Parker Harrison, 2 up for the Raiders here in the top half of the third inning. I'm Reed Mouse. You're watching Love and Honor Live here on Chatterbox Sports. Fultz walked, came around, and scored all the way back in the first inning. Wright State hopped on first, 4-0. Miami came back and gave the RedHawks a 5-4 lead. Byers, after giving up 5 free passes in the top of the first, zoned in, ironed out the strikes in the second. See if he can keep it going here in the third with his team regaining the lead. Lefty on lefty. Byers showing a 3-pitch mix. here today. Curveball, fastball, changeup. Can throw all three at pretty much any point in the at-bat. The 3-1. Grounded out to Cooper Weiss. He takes one step back, fields it cleanly, throws it over to Parker Lester for the first out. Score that a 6-3 putout. And for the first time this ball game, Miami retires the leadoff batter for Wright State. Boston Smith steps into the batter's box. Once again, a left-handed swinger. He walked his last time. His first season as a Raider. Transfer didn't have to go too far in the transfer portal as he went right up I-75 and from the University of Cincinnati over to Dayton and Wright State. Byers falls behind. It's 2-1. A 2-1 swung on and missed. 88 on the gun from Byers. And he sits down Boston Smith for the second out. And that's what we've seen from Carson Byers this year. A lot of free passes, a lot of strikeouts. In fact, coming in today, had 17 free passes and 17 strikeouts in 11 innings pitched. So he's got nice stuff as a true freshman and plays with a bit of energy out there on the bump. See him ready to toe the rubber right again. The 1-0 is swung on and missed by Parker Harrison. Brings the count to 1-1. Called strike, fastball, 88 on the gun, right down the middle. And Byers is in the driver's seat on the 1-2. Misses upstairs. Miami, this season, one thing they've struggled with is when they do get a crooked number on the scoreboard, hanging a 0 when they get back on the field. The changeup changes speeds, and Carson Byers is fired up, putting down Parker Harrison. It's 5-4 as we head to the bottom of the third here on Love and Honor Live. Welcome back to McKee Field at Hayden Park. It's the bottom of the third. Parker Lester, David Novak, Brian Zapp due up for Miami in this 5-4 ball game. Gloomy day here in Oxford, Ohio. A lot of rain, and the sprinkles should consist throughout the entirety, all 9 innings of this one. One and one's the count here to Zap. I apologize, Parker Lester. Lester had a double down the left field line his last time up. We've seen opposing teams shift on Parker Lester, the left-handed hitter, different than how they typically shift lefties. Typically, you put the second baseman out in shallow right field. You move the shortstop over to the right side of second base. But with Parker Lester, they actually shift to the opposite side of the field. He puts one for a ride out to deep left center field. It's tracking back along the wall. And what a play by Andrew Patrick. Andrew Patrick drifted out to the 376 sign just beneath the scoreboard out in left center field and leaped backwards as he caught that ball in midair. What a play, my oh my. So it'll be an F8 on the score sheet, but it truly doesn't tell the story of how miraculous that play was. The ball just kept drifting, and that's actually the way the wind is blowing out to dead left center field. Drifting, drifting, drifting. Patrick drifted along with it, but just made a play, a desperation leap backwards. And the first batter is retired here in the bottom half of the third. Novak finds the barrel, sends it out to left field. This is a ground rule double. And boy, is he seeing the ball well. His 4th hit in 2 days. 3 yesterday against Oakland and a double right there. He walked, came around and scored earlier this ball game. But things turning around for the starting catcher, that is David Novak. Brian Zapp steps in, and he was mere feet away from a grand salami his last time. Plated just 1 run on a bases loaded single off the wall to dead center. Warren Hartzell falls behind Zapp. 1-0 is a breaking ball. Curves around the strike zone and misses. 2-0. Zapp chops one. Warren Hartzell could not come in and make the play. Garrick Anglin scoops it over to Greenwell, not in time. Anglin had a ways to go out from deep in second base. Flipped it over to Greenwell, and Zapp used his legs to beat out the flip. Dylan Baker struck out his first time around, looking to add on to this RedHawks lead. Hartzell comes set. Shows bunt. Dylan Baker pushes it down the first base line. Greenwell flips it over to first. Another safety squeeze, another RedHawks run. It's 6-4. That's small ball. That is great baseball right there from Coach Hayden and the Miami RedHawks. So give Baker the RBI on the bunt. Tommy Harrison steps in. Runner in scoring position, 2 away. It's 6-4. Harrison's at bat just last inning was when the tides really started to turn for Miami here in the early parts of this ball game. Chopped one out to Greenwell. What could have been a double play that ended the inning turned into an error that led to 2 runs. Harrison eventually came around and scored and gave Miami the lead. The 0-2. Called strike 3. In the strike zone, Tommy Harrison is frozen on the breaking ball. Miami adds on another. It's 6-4. We head to the 4th inning here on Love and Honor Live. Eight, 9-1 due up for Wright State here in the top half of the 4th inning. We're at McKee Field at Hayden Park on this gloomy Wednesday afternoon in Oxford, Ohio. Carson Byers out to hang another 0. After giving up 4 in the first, 2 scoreless frames consecutively. Greenwell lined out to center field his last time around. Rylan Zaborowski made a nice play out there in center field, but he quickly finds himself in an 0-2 hole here today. Byers gets another swinging strikeout. He's feeling it. That's 3 in a row for the southpaw. So now Luke Arnold struts to the plate. 5 strikeouts for Carson Byers through 3 1/3 innings pitched. The rain really starting to come down here in Oxford. 1-0. Called strike. If McKee Field didn't have turf, there'd be no way they'd be playing right now. Be a muddy mess out there, but luckily for Miami, they've got artificial turf as the one hopper out to Carson Byer. He fields his position, flips it over to Parker Lester. For the second out, back to the top of the order, it's Andrew Patrick. First pitch swinging. Byers has found the strike zone. He's feeding off his own energy, and he plays with a lot of it. 0-1 to the leadoff batter, Andrew Patrick. Patrick made a heck of a defensive play last inning. Parker Lester popped one out to deep left center field. Patrick leaped backwards to save what would be extra bases. Byers is using that changeup with a lot of confidence as he gets a swinging strike on Andrew Patrick. Patrick out in front of it, barrels it down the left field line, but foul. The 1-2. Byers gets the sign from Harrison. Kicks, deals, flared out to left field. Zapp coming in to make the play. It's the third and final out. 5-4 our score as we head to the bottom of the fourth on this rainy day at Oxford on Love and Honor Live. New arm to tell you about here in the bottom half of the fourth inning. It's the right-handed pitcher, the sophomore from Lewis Center, Ohio, Josh Leisher. The sophomore, this is his 7th appearance this season. He's got 7 innings on the mound. He'll face the top half of Miami's order, Evan Applewick. A 10.29 ERA. He's got a whip of 1.86. 11 strikeouts, 6 walks on the early season. The 92-mile-an-hour fastball is blown by Evan Applewick. It's 0-2. You can hear the wind blowing here at McKee Field. The 0-2 misses. If you haven't already, we invite you to please like our stream. Helps us get in the YouTube algorithm and catch more eyeballs. Helps grow the channel. As Evan Applewick goes down swinging. We'll be here all spring, Chatterbox Sports will. Covering Miami softball and baseball games. We'll be back in action this weekend to cover the softball MAC series between Northern Illinois and Miami. First pitch swinging, Cooper Weiss pops one up into shallow center field. Coming in to make the play is Andrew Patrick. He comes a long way, running near half a mile for the second out. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Look around. Provide daily content, sports talk show, Off the Bench with Thom Brennaman, 10 to 12, Monday through Friday. As well as a few niche shows. Rylan Zaborowski steps into the batter's box with 2 away. Swings at the first slider he sees. Chops one out to the shortstop, Luke Arnold. He gets it on the second bounce, flips it over to Greenwell. It's a quick inning here in the bottom half of the fourth. 6-4 our score. We head to the fifth here on Love and Honor Live on Chatterbox Sports. Jay Lukert, Garrick Anglin, and Sammy Sass due up for Wright State in the top of the fifth. First pitch swinging, the preseason All-American with a base knock to center field.
The second baseman, Garrick Anglin.
Garrick Anglin steps in. Popped up in the infield his last time around. Meyer's been working with a lot of energy past few innings, and most of it has come off the crutch that is his changeup. You saw it right there. First pitch to Garrick Anglin. 76 mile an hour on the gun. Thrown it at any point in the count. And that's when he's most effective. Goes back to it, loses it as it misses low and in. Foul down the third base line. It's 1-2. Anglin walked, came around and scored his first time. Garrick awaits the 1-2. Fastball. Tried to ride upstairs. Anglin didn't even think about it once. Anglin's been the power bat on this Raiders offense. And the changeup gets Anglin to wave. That thing is speaking a different language at this point. Way out in front, he gets the first out. See if he goes back to it against Sammy Sass. Sammy Sass 1 for 2 on the day. Single came around and scored back in the first inning. Popped up in the infield. That was that unique inning back in the second where Andrew Patrick led off with a double. And 3 consecutive, the middle of this Wright State lineup, all popped up in the infield. That was when the rain started coming down. Sammy Sass flares one out to right field. Zach McDonald getting the start in right field. Didn't have to move too far. Has it for the second out. Two away, one on for Patrick Foltz.
Now the third baseman, Patrick Foltz.
We mentioned the athlete that was Patrick Foltz. Went to Springfield Shawnee. 2-sport, 4-year starter, obviously playing baseball here in college, but for Shawnee, he set the school record in career assists and career steals in his 4-year starting for Shawnee. First pitch misses upstairs. The 1-0 misses as well as 2-0. Yeah, Folt's a true freshman, 6 foot tall, 200 pounds. Getting the start today at third base. Hasn't got much action on the defensive side, but he's ahead in the count. Final runner that was plated for the Raiders all the way back in the first inning. He walked, came around, and scored. They've been dry ever since. Called strike. Runs the count to 3-1. The 3-1 to the lefties. Lefty on lefty action. Miami has escaped the inning that did them in last time when they played Wright State back on March 7th. We mentioned it, 23-7 ball game. It was the 4th inning. Wright State went out to a 2-0 lead. Regained the lead at 4-2 in the top half of the 4th. Then the Raiders plated 11 runs in the bottom half. They tagged on 9 runs and 5 in the 7th, 4 in the 8th, and that's how they got the final score of 23-7. Running on the 3-2, the base hit scoots underneath Cooper Weiss's glove, and the runners will move to the corners. Lukert, who was moving on the full count with 2 outs, takes third base. And Boston Smith steps up with the tying run aboard. Byers falls behind again. We're not breaking any new ground here, but the first pitch is often the most important for a pitcher. That goes double for Byers. Incredibly effective, went ahead of the batters. Struggles when falling behind. 2-0. Smith has yet to put the ball in play, has walked and struck out. 2-0 finds the strike zone. It's an 88-mile-an-hour fastball on the inside. Smith talking to the home plate umpire, Daryl Morton Jr., asking how far he's willing to go in. Lace down the right field line. That's extra bases. One runner will score. Zach McDonald gets it in, hits his cutoff man. Waving around home. We've got a play at the plate. Throw up the line. Tommy Harrison didn't have the tag. And Patrick Foltz scores to make it 6-6 on the 2 RBI double from Boston Smith. So new ball game here as it's 6-6 in the top half of the 5th with 2 away, and Wright State still threatening. Parker Harrison steps in. Similar to Boston Smith in front of him. Harrison has yet to put the ball in play. He's walked in, struck out. The 1-0 waved at. Count is 1-1. Just missed on the outside. Two 2-1 our count to Harrison. Called strike, found that changeup back in the zone. Swung on and missed. Carson Byers gets Parker Harrison away at the change piece. And they strand the runner on second, but not before Wright State ties it up 6-all as we head to the bottom half of the fifth here in Oxford. Four, 5, 6. Due up for Miami here in the bottom half of the fifth. Back out for another inning of relief work for Wright State. Josh Lasher. So ready to start action here. McDonald, 0 for 1. Got things rolling for Miami back in their 5-run second inning. Looking to be a leadoff hitter again. Downstairs. All these arms from Wright State. Hitting the low 90s. They sure another power arm for the Raiders. McDonald awaits the 1-1. Slider fouled off. Down the right side, McDonald crowds the plate. Toes up right on the inside of that box. They see it on the previous pitch where they were working away from him. Now backs away on the 1-2. Fastball rides up and in. It's popped up in the infield. Greenwell calls off. The other infielders gloves it for the first out. We'll see Parker Lester. Of course, Lester popped out to left center field his last time around. Andrew Patrick made it just a phenomenal play out there on the warning track. Called strike. 1-1's the count here, the lefty. Lasher bounces one. Parker Lester rips one into left center field, tailing. That's in the gap for 2. Lester with some wheels coast in the second base as the throw gets back into the infield. Bat-to-back at bats, where Lester has found that left center field gap. And now we'll see David Novak. And perhaps no one is seeing the ball better than David Novak at this very moment. 4 hits in the previous 2 days, has only been out once in 6 plate appearances. He falls behind after waving at the slider from Leisure. They shift a few steps to the left for the right-hander. Oh, they're playing the catcher straight up. Now, David Novak is the typical starting catcher. He's getting the start as the designated hitter today because of the performance he had 24 hours ago. He finds himself in an 0-2 well. Lester up and running on the 0-2. This is trickled down the first base line. Lester probably would have had third base, but Novak had to stay alive as that was in the strike zone. Fouled back, still misting out here in Oxford. The 0-2. Slider and Novak staying alive. Looking like we might be at the end of the rain here as I check the Doppler radar. I imagine it'll stay ugly, overcast, damp throughout the remainder of this one here today. Novak. Pieces one to the shortstop, Arnold. Nice job by Lester moving on the bat. He takes third base, but it's a 6-3 putout. Because Arnold was playing on his heels, he couldn't have made a play on Lester over at third base. Now we'll see Brian Zapp. Zapp 2 for 2. It hits Zapp in the shoe. They'll award Zapp first base. So put runners on the corner, 2 away for Dylan Baker. Dylan Baker brought home a run on the sacrifice bunt. Baker looking for another RBI here with 2 away. First pitch swinging, pops up right behind home plate. Boston Smith hawks the ball down for the third and final out. So the RedHawks threaten, but don't scratch any runs across. To the 6th inning we go here on Love and Honor Live. Welcome back to McKee Field here at Hayden Park, Oxford, Ohio, the venue for this Southwest Ohio slugfest between Wright State and the Miami RedHawks. I'm Reed Mouse. You're watching Love and Honor Live on Chatterbox Sports. New arm to tell you about, another southpaw, Connor Preisel. He is in relief for Carson Byers. Preisel, a true freshman from Holy Name High School. This will be his 6th appearance on the season, 5 2/3 innings pitched. He's given up 7 earned runs, struck out 6, given up 6 walks. He's got exactly 11.12 ERA. He's in relief for Carson Byers, who exits the game 5 innings pitched, 7 Ks, 5 walks, 6 earned runs, 6 runs given up. So it'll be a no decision for Carson Byers as we have a 6-6 ball game. So we're at the top of the 6th. 8-9-1 due up for the Raiders. Julian Greenwell steps in, 0-2. First pitch goes way behind Greenwell. As a senior in high school, Preisel was named the Holy Name Athlete of the Year. Also played football. It's an all-conference selection as a senior. Now making his name at the collegiate level. Greenwell awaits the 2-0. This misses downstairs. Greenwell struggling this year. Batting .194 coming into today. After being all league last season, 4th year in the program, he takes the 3-0 for a called strike. In fact, last year he had 50 RBIs, batted .314, 8 home runs, slugged .560. He pitched back in 2020 and 2021, but I've only seen him once, one appearance since those first 2 years. The 3-1 is going to be called hit by pitch. Thought it might have hit the knob, but got off the wrist of Julian Greenwell. So he'll be awarded first. And Connor Preisel gives a free pass to the first batter he faces. We'll see what Luke Arnold does. 0 for 2. First pitch in there for a called strike. 87 on the gun from the southpaw. Thank you for joining us here today. If you haven't already, please like that stream. Hit that like button. Hit subscribe. Take a gander around the Chatterbox Sports channel. Chopped down the third baseline. It's 0-2. Preisel coming back with a strikeout, and a big strikeout, getting the first out on the board. Wind blowing well out to left center field. Moving the American flag out in center field, moving the Miami flags on the scoreboard out in left center. Back to the top of the order, Andrew Patrick. Working on a 1 for 2. Leadoff double back in the second inning. They weren't able to bring him in. A lot of speed, He's made some nice plays out in center field. 1-0 to Patrick. Called strike at the top of the zone. Jay Lukert's on deck. Garrick Anglin in the hole. One away in the top of the 6th. I'm Emery Mouse here watching Love and Honor Live here on Chatterbox Sports. The 1-1 swung on, foul tipped. Patrick, a true sophomore. It's an all-freshman in the Horizon League a season ago. Leads the team in stolen bases. Perfect 9 for 9. Two and 2 is the count. The sophomore from Hilliard Darby. This misses upstairs. Will run the count full. As a sophomore, Patrick has shined. He's improved his slugging percentage from a season ago by nearly 200 points, from 486 up to 646. He'll take an extra base hit right here if they give it to him. Fastball misses upstairs on the 3-2. It's a walk. Trackman here at McKee Field had that in the zone. But Daryl Morton Jr. said, no, sir. 2 on, 1 away for the 2-hole, Jay Lukert. Chopped foul down the first baseline. Lukert, not just a starting right fielder for Wright State, also their closer. In fact, he threw one scoreless inning last night against the Buckeyes. Had a whale of a weekend against Purdue Fort Wayne. 6 hits and 14 at-bats. 3 runs scored, 2 RBIs. Looking for an RBI here if he can find the outfield. Flared out to left field. It's going to be a tough play for the left fielder, Brian Zapp. He comes in, gloves it for the second out. Just hung up long enough for Zapp to get there. And we're to the middle of the order. Gary Anglin. First pitch misses downstairs. 1-0. Anglin's working on an 0 for 2. Popped up in the infield, struck out his last at bat. Anglin leads this team in RBIs. Chopped foul. He had 4 RBIs and 3 runs scored just a few days ago, as Wright State beat Purdue Fort Wayne 13-4. Foul down the third base line. We'll do it at 1-2. The first time around between these two teams, Anglin went 3 for 6. He scored 3 runs, had 3 RBIs. 3 doubles in that game. The 1-2. And the dirt. Big pitch here. 2 runners on, 2 away, 2-2's the count. And this 6-6 ball game. The wind is howling here in Oxford. Lined into center field. Rylan Zaborowski coming in to make the play. The throw to home plate. Parker Lester cuts it off. Sliding in home for the lead is Greenwell. Wright State regains the lead for the first time since the second inning. And they're still threatening as the cleanup batter, Sammy Sass, steps into the batter's box. Praisel comes set. Saw Sammy Sass off, but in foul territory. One fouled over the first base dugout. Oh, 2 to the designated hitter, Sass. Yesterday, Miami played the Golden Grizzly. Sass from Upper Arlington. He's a Golden Bear. Once again, riding it on the hands of Sass. Still late. Working on the inside half. See what they come with on the 0-2. Wind blowing out to left center field. Praisel checks on the runner out at second base. Andrew Patrick got in time. Dylan Baker there to defend the bag. No 2. Fouled over the first base dugout. We'll do it again. As the rain slows down, the wind is catching up. Praisel comes set on the 0-2. Kicks, steals, misses upstairs. The off speed couldn't come back down to earth. Dylan Baker holding on the runner at second base, so he shifted away from his normal position. Called strike 3 on Sammy Sass. But Wright State regains the lead. It's 7-6. Miami getting the sticks out here in the bottom half of the inning. Tommy Harrison steps in the batter's box against Leisure. Harrison, the anchor of this Miami lineup. Then back to the top half. Harrison scored back in the second inning. He struck out looking his last time. Looking to be a leadoff man. The 1-0's in there. Foul tip. Harrison awaits the 1-1. That's 2. A true freshman. Offers at the 1-2. It's a fastball way out of the zone. That's 1 up, 1 down here in the bottom half of the 6th. Evan Applewick steps in. 0 for 3. A unique 0 for 3 for Evan Applewick. Mentioned this in the broadcast yesterday. Though his batting average is right around the middle part of the team, he's hitting .230. His on-base percentage is good for second out of the regular starters. .456. In fact, Zach McDonald is the only batter with a higher on-base percentage is in the lineup every day. Brian Zapp's also up there. He gets on about 50% of the time, but he typically only plays against right-handed pitching. The 1-1 to Applewick is swung on and missed. Applewick was 0 for 3 yesterday against Oakland, 0 for 3 in the final game against Northern Illinois, and sported an 0 for 3 here this evening. Two twos the count. Leisure kicks, deals, rocks. Called strike 3 to Evan Applewick. So strikeouts to begin things here in the bottom half of the 6th, and Cooper Weiss steps into the batter's box. Weiss, a .317 hitter. Had a hit back in the second inning. 3rd consecutive game with a hit, 4 in the last 5. Pieces one to right center field. Andrew Patrick giving chase. Will get underneath it for the 3rd out. So a quick inning in the bottom half of the 6th. Miami doesn't threaten. We head to the 7th here on Love and Honor Live. Connor Prazel out for another inning of work for the Miami RedHawks. It's the top of the 7th. 7-6 our score here at McKee Field at Hayden Park. I'm Reed Mouse. You're watching Love and Honor Live here on Chatterbox Sports. Patrick Foltz, Boston Smith, Parker Harrison due up for the Raiders here in the 7th inning. Thank you for joining. If you're new here, please, I mentioned it, plugged it a few times already. But if you haven't, be so kind, hit that like on the stream. Subscribe to the channel. 1-0's the count to Patrick Fultz. Misses up and in. Lefty on lefty action. As Prazel misses away. In there for a called strike. It's 3-1. Chopped over to the first baseman, Parker Lester, who gloves it right before it goes foul. 3 unassisted will begin things here in the top half of the 7th. Boston Smith due up, and Boston Smith doubled down the right field line, which plated 2 runs, Patrick Fultz and Jay Lukert, to tie the game up at 6. That was back in the 5th inning. The Smith is a true sophomore from Vandalia Butler High School, so didn't have to go too far to go to college. He awaits the 0-1. And that winds up in the back of Boston Smith. So free bases here in the top half of the 7th.
Number 2, left fielder, Thom.
Prazel kicks. Misses in the turf. 1-0 our count. And they're going to go talk to the southpaw. Get action in the Miami bullpen. Can't quite see the number, but it is a right-hander. So long discussion out there on the mound. And now Darryl Morton Jr. is going to go out there, break it up. Warming up in the bullpen is Looper for Miami. And Landon Looper warming up, the right-handed pitcher. One on, one away, 1-0's our count in the top of the 7th. Called strike, and you see Prazel, the way that he squares his body off from home plate. That's kind of a new age pitching style. It used to be in line with home plate. You're seeing more and more pitchers step towards the batter. This is flown out to left center field. Miscommunication between Zapp and Rylan Zaborowski, but Zaborowski has it for the second out. Checking on the runner over at first. Julian Greenwell, hit by a pitch his last time up, came and scored to give Wright State the lead just last inning. The Raiders have scored in the previous two-time trips to the plate. The 1-0 rides in on Greenwell, chops it down the first base line. 1-1. Appraisal comes set. Swung on and missed. This gets away from Tommy Harrison, who's going to slide before it can get into Miami's dugout, rather. Hustle play from Harrison, recognizing didn't want the runner to move up an extra 90. So put a runner in scoring position in the form of Boston Smith. There's 2 away and a 1-2 count. Lefty on lefty action. Called strike 3 on Greenwell. Disagrees with the call, but he's sent packing regardless. We head to the bottom half of the 7th. It's stretch time here at McKee Field. Stay tuned. You're watching Love and Honor Live. All right, to the bottom of the 7th we go here at McKee Field at Hayden Park. You're watching Love and Honor Live on Chatterbox Sports. Another inning of work for Josh Leisure. He's been very sharp out of the Raiders bullpen. Rylan Zaborowski due up for Miami. Zach McDonald, Parker Lester will wait on deck and in the hole, and Zaborowski gives everything at that 1-0 fastball. It's a 1-run ball game. And Zaborowski steps in with the most home runs in the entire lineup for Miami with 9. Despite winning just 4 of their first 21 games, Miami is actually out hitting in the home run department their opponents. 29 home runs as opposed to 19 from their opponents. Puts them in the top 3rd in big flies on the young season in the entire country. The 1-2, the slider that's fouled straight back. One and 2 to Zaborowski. Glazier takes a deep breath. Jux deals. It's a slider that's up and in. 2-2. Fastball blown by the starting center fielder. Got him chasing. So Zach McDonald steps in, and we mentioned Zaborowski leads the team in home runs. Zach McDonald not too far behind. Zaborowski has 9, Zach McDonald with 6. No one else on the RedHawks starting lineup or in the entire roster is over 3. McDonald 1-0 swinging. Day late, $1 short. He's 0 for 2, has popped up in the infield twice. Hitters count here for McDonald. Two ones in the dirt. And we mentioned McDonald got the start in right field, which is curious to say the least because he's typically the starting center fielder. And I know Zaborowski got the start out there, but displacing 2 position players is unique as McDonald is awarded first base. So in steps Parker Lester, who has barreled up the ball 3 times. 2 doubles. Pop out the deep left center field. McDonald has the wheels to come around and score if Lester shall find the gap once more. First pitch swinging down the left field line, but trailing foul. Harrison, the starting left fielder for Wright State, taking a few steps towards left center field. You see Andrew Patrick is shading that way as well. The slider's in the turf. Lester moves his hips towards it, but never really offers. The 1-1. Parker Lester tries to lay it down. Late decision, just pops it foul. And it's 1-2. Glacier's 1-2 offering. Slider, Lester comes up empty. So now we'll see David Novak, who scored twice today. Grounded out to the shortstop Arnold his last time. He gets ahead, and he's trying to keep the vibes going from yesterday and earlier in this ballgame. Wind blowing straight out to center field now. Glacier kicks, rocks, deals. Novak chops it out to the shortstop Arnold. Backhands it, throws it across the diamond for the 3rd out. So McDonald is awarded first base, but once again, the RedHawks do not threaten here in the bottom half of the 7th. To the 8th we go here on Love and Honor Live. Welcome back to Oxford, Ohio. Top of the 8th inning. I'm Reed Mouse. You're watching Love and Honor Live here on Chatterbox Sports. New arm to tell you about. It's Landon Looper. He's in relief for Connor Praisel. And he'll face off against the bottom of Wright State's lineup. Luke Arnold then back to the top. First pitch to Arnold's in there for a called strike. The 0-1 misses downstairs. Not much to tell you about Landon Looper. This is the first time he has seen action for Miami. The sophomore from Illinois, 6'4", 215 pounds. Gets the 1-1 in the strike zone. Transfer from the University of Louisville. The 1-2. Capped off the end of Arnold's bats. We'll do it again. One and two, another slider. Works away from Arnold. He holds off. So first time seeing action this year. In a crucial moment, a 7-6 ball game, 8th inning against the local rival. Count is ran full. It's 3-2. Three-two misses, low and away, 82-mile-an-hour slider. That awards Arnold free pass. So now we'll see Andrew Patrick. We'll see if the speedy leadoff man opts to lay it down, putting Arnold in scoring position and even giving himself a chance to sneak a base knock. Applewick, a third baseman, playing even with the bag. Slider works away from Patrick. One 1-0, and now we'll see Evan Applewick taking about 4 steps. His heel's about a foot in on the grass cutout. Looper's fastball, 89-mile-an-hour on the gun. All for naught as time was called. Middle infield playing at double play depth. Called strike. 1-1. Down the third base line, but foul. So says Daryl Morton Jr. 1-2. Now our count. Looper trying to keep this a 7-6 ball game. Slider works away from Patrick. Run it 2-2. Wright State holds on and wins this game. They'll get their record back to even at 10-10. Miami looking to nab their 5th win of the season as the 2-2 misses away. Looper gets the sign from Tommy Harrison. Kicks the payoff pitch. Sent for a ride out to deep left center field. Looking up and waving goodbye as Andrew Patrick adds on to the Wright State lead. It's 9-6. Home run number 3 for Andrew Patrick. His first 2 coming in one game against the University of Kentucky back on February 25th. Now Landon Looper is facing off the middle of this Wright State lineup as Jay Lukert, first pitch swinging, sends it to center field for a base knock. Garrick Anglin steps in. Another arm getting loose for Miami. Southpaw. Give you a name once we find out who is in fact warming. It is the left-hander Luke Ross warming up in Miami's bullpen. Looper kicks, deals, misses on the outside. Anglin got his first base hit of the ball game back in the 6th inning. Called strike. 1-1 the count. Fouled back towards Miami's dugout. 1-2 now our count. The 1-2 from Looper. Curveball that misses away. So it's 2-2, nobody away. 1 on. 2 runs have already been plated. And we'll give you the full recap of how we got to this 9-6 score here momentarily. Gary Anglin awaits the pitch from Looper, and he's keeping close tabs on Lukert over there at first base. And the dirt makes it 3-2. Popped up in a shallow right field, giving chase is Zach McDonald on the run, sliding on his behind for the first out. Nice play by Zach McDonald. Ball hung up just long enough. So, short recap on how we got to this 9-6 score. Wright State plated 4 runs in the first inning. Then Miami was able to hang 3 consecutive zeros, second, third, and fourth. Wright State tagged on 2 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th, and then 2 here in the top half of the 8th. Miami took the lead, scoring 5 in the bottom half of the 2nd. Added on in the 3rd, and then haven't scored since. Called strike to Sammy Sass. Sass 1 for 4 on the day. 1-1's in the turf. Doing it 2-1. So in this entire ball game, we've seen just 2 full innings in which neither team has scored. That was in the 4th and in the 7th. Looper comes back on the 2-1 to knot the count up at 2s. Short lead for Lukert over at first. This is ripped into right center field. Zach McDonald's right there to make the play. Good scouting as McDonald was shaded to right center field for the second out. I think that's going to be it for Landon Looper, as with a bunch of lefties coming to the plate, we're going to see a southpaw toe the rubber. So we'll step aside. When we come back, we'll tell you about the new arm here on Love and Honor Live. Luke Ross toes the rubber for Miami here in the top of the 8th. 2 away for Ross. This is his 3rd appearance on the season. He's given up 9 earned runs in 2 2/3 innings pitched, 2 strikeouts, 5 walks. He's got a 30.37 ERA. His 2 appearances have come against Georgia Tech and Wright State. 1 1/3 inning pitch both times. Gave up 4 earned runs against Wright State back on March 7th. He's a freshman out of Wisconsin, went to IMG Academy. He's a lefty facing off against the lefty-centric part of this Raiders lineup. Had a 1.8 ERA last year at IMG. So very successful as a senior at the academy. But he's fallen behind to Patrick Fultz. 2-0's the count. Misses upstairs. 3 balls, no strikes. Called strike. Modest lead for Lukert over at first base. He's up and running. Ross offers to Fultz. He fouls it down the first base line. So the count is full. Lukert will be up and moving. We'll see if Ross opts to check in at least once on him. But now with Parker Lester behind the bag. Fouled off Tommy Harrison's mitt. We'll do it again. freezes him on the fastball on the outside. Fultz goes down looking. Wright State adds on to their lead thanks to a 2-run big fly by Andrew Patrick. It's 9-6. We head to the bottom half of the 8th here on Love and Honor Live on Chatterbox Sports. Seven, 8, 9. 2 up for Miami in the bottom half of the 8th inning. It's 9-6. Here on Chatterbox Sports. Wind's starting to blow. You saw our protective covering over our camera. Hop into frame for a quick second. New arm to tell you about. It's Joey Valentine. True freshman. Native of Medina, Ohio. 6'2", 170 pounds. A southpaw. Not his first time on the bump this year. In fact, this is his 9th. 7 innings pitched. He's given up 11 runs, 8 of which are earned. He struck out 9. He's walked 9. He's got a 10.29 ERA. More so, he's allowing right exactly at 2 base runners an inning. Christian Tejada with a lefty on the bump. Will pinch hit for Brian Zapp. .90 on the gun from Valentine. A lanky southpaw. Tejada trying to get things rolling for Miami. Tejada gets on base right around 39% of the time. Shows bunt, pops it up. Trying to make a play and making a fantastic catch is Boston Smith. Oh my, what a play. Christian Tejada pops it up. Boston Smith doesn't recognize it right away. Eventually does, scrambles, fully extends, dives, makes the catch for the first out. Thom Magliocca. Steps into the batter's box. Magliocca on the season. 1 for 4. This is his 5th appearance on the season. Getting on base 40% of the time, so 1 walk and 5 at-bats, or 5 plate appearances, rather. And 1 hit. He falls behind 1 and 2. Magliocca takes the 1-2 in the dirt. It's 2-2. Magliocca off the end of the bat gets one to chop over the glove of Greenwell. He's rounding first, heading for second, sliding in head first with the double. So off the end of the bat, Greenwell tries to backhand it. It hits off of his forearm, bounces into right field. And we'll see Tommy Harrison step to the batter's box with the runner on second base. So Magliocca does his role, coming off the bench and getting aboard. Tommy Harrison 0 for 3, struck out twice, got aboard on the air his first time. They're working away from the lefty. (1-0) here to Harrison. Valentine misses low and away. And they're going to go talk to Joey Valentine. Tommy Harrison batting 149 on the year. Since the last time that Miami played Wright State, Harrison with just 2 hits. In fact, he's 0 for his last 14. 2-0. Gets a good piece of it, but hits it foul. 2-1. Yeah, he had a 2 for 4 day against Toledo on the Sunday game of that 3-game series. Saw the ball very well. But besides that, since they played the Raiders last, he is 2 for 25. (2-1). Harrison called strike. According to the TrackMan, that was well out of the zone. (2-2) now the count. Fouled back. Sun peeking through the clouds now. The payoff pitch. Left alone, and it's outside. Runners on first and second for Evan Applewick. So Applewick representing the tying run with 2 aboard and 1 away. Applewick has enough power to poke it out of the park, though he doesn't do it a lot. 1 home run on the year. He's slugging .361. Takes the first pitch for a ball. The big sticks are on deck in the hole and still in the dugout in the form of Cooper Weiss, Rylan Zaborowski, and Zach McDonald. Applewick takes the 1-0 on the outside. It's 1-1. Valentine gets the sign from Smith, comes set. 2 runners aboard for Evan Applewick. Checking on the runner at second base. Dylan Baker, or rather, Thom Magliocca slides back in time. 1-1 misses low and in. It's 2-1. The 2-2 from Valentine. Fouled back. We'll do it again. Applewick looking to extend this inning. Get another base runner, reach a board as he represents the tying run. He pops one up in the infield. They'll see if they call the infield fly rule. They do. As Arnold scrambles back to make the catch for the second out. Cooper Weiss steps in. 1 for 4 on the day. He's reached a board twice. Both those were in the first and second inning. Singled back in the second. Weiss has been an incredible hitter this year. Takes the first pitch for a called strike. In fact, in his 20 starts, he has only not gotten a hit 3 times. Today is no different. Pieces one into right center field. Patrick back underneath it for the third and final out. Cooper Weiss gives it a ride. But Andrew Patrick right there for the third and final out. So Miami strands 2 runners here in the bottom half of the 8th. They're going to have to do it all in the 9th. It's 9-6 on Love and Honor Live. To the 9th we go here at McKee Field. Thank you for joining and watching another edition of Love and Honor Live on Chatterbox Sports. If you haven't already, please hit the like button on the stream. Subscribe to our channel. Look around. Plenty of content. And I'm sure you'll enjoy not just Miami baseball and softball games. Boston Smith, Parker Harrison, Julian Greenwell due up for the Wright State Raiders here in the top half of the 9th as Luke Ross is out for another inning, trying to hold this game at 9-6. Miami has not scratched across a run since the 3rd inning. Did most of their damage back in the 2nd. And held quiet. Left 2 runners aboard in the 8th. They're going to have to do it in the bottom of the 9th. And Luke Ross does a good job at putting down Boston Smith on strikes. And we'll see Parker Harrison.
The pinch hitter for the Raiders at the plate, number 19, Drew Baker.
Chopped out to Evan Applewick, in on the run, thrown across the diamond, and beating out the speedy Parker Harrison for the second out. Called strike in there to Julian Greenwell. Greenwell, 2 strikeouts on the day. Lined out to center field all the way back in the first inning. Got a good piece of that ball. But has been held in check ever since. His hit by a pitch came around and scored back in the 6th. That actually gave Wright State the lead, and they haven't looked back yet. Pieces this into medium depth center. Rylan Zaborowski moves to his right. And he'll have that pop up for the third and final out. So quick work in the top half of the 9th for Luke Ross. Do or die time for the RedHawks in the bottom of the 9th. Stay tuned. Rylan Zaborowski steps up to the plate and immediately gets plunked by Joey Valentine. Welcome to the bottom half of the 9th inning here on Love and Honor Live. Chatterbox Sports, I'm Reed Mouse. Let's get things rolling. The wind is howling. The RedHawks are looking to be too. Got to come back from a 3-run deficit. Their back's against the wall, and they get their leadoff man on. So in steps Zach McDonald. First pitch misses. Can't ask for a better start to the 9th. Then your leadoff guy getting aboard. McDonald awaits the 1-0 from Valentine. Fouled straight back, and Miami's at the teeth of their lineup. On deck is Parker Lester, David Novak in the hole. And those are 2 of the hottest hitters in Miami's lineup. Rylan Zaborowski's on first. McDonald at the plate. Valentine with 1 save already this season. Looking for save number 2. The 1-1 misses outside. 2-2 on the swing. Two misses up and in. The count is full. The payoff pitch to Zach McDonald. Valentine kicks. Chopped over towards the third baseman, Fultz. Looking for 2. Got the out there. No out at first. So put 1 out on the board. On the fielder's choice. It's a 5-4 put out. McDonald at first, and stepping up is Parker Lester. Check that with a lefty on the mound. They'll put up Steven Krause, the senior. The book on Steven Krause, he's a captain, senior. He's played a lot of games for Miami. Very aggressive hitter. Doesn't walk a whole lot. He gets his in the batter's box. Valentine checks on McDonald over at first base. Krause offers at the first pitch he sees from Valentine. 0-1. Yeah, Krause is a free swinger. Just 1 walk on the season thus far. One finds the strike zone. It's 0-2. Krause, a .267 hitter. 8 hits and 30 at-bats. He awaits the 0-2. Valentine kicks. Breaking ball doesn't come back down to earth. It's 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Infield playing straight up. Called strike 3 on Steven Krause. And the RedHawks are down to their final out. David Novak. One for 3, he's also walked. His last 2 trips to the plate, he's grounded out to Arnold at short. He takes the first pitch for a called strike. Tying run on deck. 0-1's in there for a called strike. Valentine away. 1 strike away from his second save of the season. In the dirt. The 1-2. Breaking ball left upstairs. Popped up foul. We'll continue this game for at least 1 more pitch. Ran full, so with the full count, 2 away. Up and moving will be Zach McDonald on the pitch. Novak awaits the payoff. The offer. Popped up towards the right field line and trailing foul. So we'll do it once more. Miami heads to Bowling Green this weekend for a 3-game tilt against the Falcons. Supposed to be cold this weekend up in northern Ohio. The 3-2. Misses low and in, so the tying run will come to the plate. And Christian Tejada steps up. Tejada popped up to the catcher his last time, tried to lay down a bunt. Takes the first pitch for a ball. This is his 6th collegiate career. 3 home runs in his career. And nearly 400 at-bats. Now, he doesn't need to have a big fly. He just needs to move it down. One more batter. Don't be the final out. It's 1-1 to Tejada. Valentine checks on McDonald out there at second base. Interesting pickoff decision. Just in the fact that McDonald doesn't mean a whole lot. Miami looking to scrap and claw their way back. Chopped out to Fultz. He's thrown it across the entire diamond. It gets away from Greenwell. 1 run will score, making it a 9-7 ball game. Greenwell had no play at third. And with the speedy David Novak working towards second base, they throw across the diamond. In the air, we'll continue this game for one more batter, and more importantly, the tying run is aboard. Jay Lukert, who is typically the Wright State closer, threw an inning yesterday against Ohio State, so they don't want to go to him here, especially with the weekend series right around the corner. Blake Buzzio steps in the batter's box. Hitting for Thom Magliacca. Buzzio, a tying run at first base. He represents the go-ahead run. And the 8th run in the form of David Novak stands 90 feet away. 1-0 to Buzzio, and you can hear Miami get into it. Buzzio sends one for a ride down the left field line, trailing foul. Didn't have the distance as it rattles up against the wall. But Parker Harrison wasn't speedy enough to get there in time. He would have had to scale the left field wall. But it was about 10 feet foul. Blake Buzzio, the sophomore, fouls one over the first base dugout. Buzzio with just 1 hit and 7 at-bats this season. The 1-2. Offers at the curveball in the dirt. It's going to be a tough play for Boston Smith. He throws it to Greenwell over at first base. And the Wright State Raiders win this ball game 9-7. Valentine was able to get the save, though wasn't the easiest of innings pitched for the lefty. Wright State improves their record to 10-10, while Miami falls to 4-18. Connor Praisel will be slapped with the loss in this one. And I'm not sure who gets the win. I believe it's Josh Leisher. 9-7 our final score. Wright State scores 4 in the first, 2 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th, and then 2 in the 8th. Miami, 5 in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd, and then 1 here in the bottom of the 9th. Miami will go up to Bowling Green this weekend, so we will not have that here on Chatterbox Sports. Though this weekend you will be able to watch the softball team as they take on Northern Illinois and MAC play. But that does it from us here in Oxford. Once again, final score 9-7. Miami falls to 4-18. For Reed Mouse and the producer Casey McAllister, we thank you for tuning in and hope to see you again in the future here on Love and Honor Live on Chatterbox Sports.